Um, in Matthew 19, verse 11, yeah, Jesus said unto them, all men cannot receive this saying, save they to whom it is given. Yeah. For there are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's womb, and there are some eunuchs which were made eunuchs of men. And there be eunuchs which have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of God's, the kingdom of heaven's sake. He that is able to receive it, let him receive it. Oh, oh, oh. Now, it looks to me that a large number of puppets, yes, had said, well, as long as I connect my sexual nerve endings to your rectum, yeah, I can be on you, yes. And some of them need to recognize that you need to receive the saying that you need to make yourself a eunuch for the kingdom of God's sake. Yes. Now let's say, yes, that you're going to fertilize your yard. Yes. There was an explosion that happened in Oklahoma City that involved a large amount of fertilizer. Yes. I just want to get the purchases of all the fertilizer of every city, county, and state of the United States where the Parks Department, yes, said we have to fertilize the grass, and we bought X number of tons of it. Now, when you use fertilizer to make an explosive, yes, because you're annoyed at the thought of not being able to use your sexual nerve endings to come to find out. Yes. Quite often, we like to make it look like the explosion was caused by somebody else that didn't really understand what they were doing. Yes. Now, we all remember the name Timothy McVeigh, and it could have been that he was being controlled. Yes. But when I look at a nation that's, well, really on the edge, yes, on the cusp, yes, of going into a severe drought that's going to kill off the bee population. It's only 4 or 5 years from now before we no longer have pollination. Yes. Now, bees communicate using a special type of sonar, and when you think about the puppet, yes, and the puppet masters, there are certain families in this world that I'm going to want to talk to. Now, there's technology families, yes, and they understand about broadband and Wi-Fi and electricity. But then there are the insect families that said, well, it doesn't matter, I'm rich. Now, let's say we use the anthill as an experience. You're out there, you're one of these large frogs. Yeah. You've been to Eden and back, and though you'd say you're crazy to believe such a thing, you decided to step outside of time and make all kinds of lookalikes that look like actual citizens. Yes, but they're frogs. Now, usually it's the queen ant that you just kept squirting a little sperm into her womb. She kept popping out the babies, and you kept adopting them to different states of the United States or maybe overseas. Because your thought was the more of my kind that I make, yes, the more I can be on them and control them, and then I'm the puppet master of governments. Yes, yes, yes. Now, there's a possibility, okay, that there's some technology that has been making lookalikes of citizens, and it's been doing it outside the time of humanity. Now, let's say you're in the army. Yes. And they look just like myself. The problem is the queen ant has a way of talking to the worker ants. Yes. Well, you all need to get up off your ass and start doing something today because we're going to clean the house, aren't we, queen? Yes. And she sits there in her fat little going right now in her ant hill, popping out little. But oh, look at the time shifting making of what looks like citizens of this great nation. Now, bullfrog. Yes. I'm going to want to know where your technology is, and I'm going to want to know, did you use the communication system of the ant hill? Yes. Or the communication system of the beehive? Yes. Because as I understand the infrastructure, yes, of the ant hill, the queen ant controls the workers. Now, there's a possibility, yes, the devil, oh, and Satan, yeah, They got involved with a little reptile a while ago that does not like a large amount of moisture content in the atmosphere. Yes, yes, yes. In fact, they like to set fires, maybe even explosions. If you can manufacture anything outside of the time of actual persons, just hypothetical, could you have a large amount of explosives there? I mean, where do you get the raw materials? Have you decided to use some fertilizer? Oh. Maybe the Army today would like to have a look at this manufacturing facilities of those that said we absolutely must make clones of them so we can be on them. Because your dog lookalikes? Yes, wherever they're being manufactured. Yes. You could have some natural resources that were intended right now. Now, well, listen, big queen ant, you're sitting there popping out.